Thanks so much for joining us. I want to introduce John and Ellen Rose, who are embarking on a brand new winery in the state of Connecticut. Thank you so much for being here. For those of you who don't know, Rose Farm goes back to 1644. Tell me about your family's farm, John.
So my family has been there. We're actually the 12th generation, and like you said, since 1644 when we started farming there.
Does it go back to England then? Did you have to get the land from England?
Well, no. So Robert Rose, the first Rose in our family, came over from England. He actually settled in Wethersfield in the 1630s, and then he and a group ended up moving down and settling, actually, which was Branford then, because North Branford was not its own separate town yet. So
wow. And you married into the family, Ellen.
I did.
So here we go. All right. So the farm started out as an orchard farm back in the day.
Yes. So through the years, it's been an orchard. It was a dairy farm, and it's back to being an orchard again. And we have the full farm stand there. We're doing all the typical fall things now with the pumpkins and the apples and all of those things. Yep.
Now, typically, you're 12 generations back. Whose idea was it to say, in this generation, let's do a winery? Did you figure into this, Ellen?
Honestly, it was everyone's idea. It kind of just happened organically, so to say. His uncle, who really runs the day-to-day operations at the farm, cleared where the vineyard is planted now. It was basically wasted farmland, so he cleared it. His thoughts were to plant more peaches, and John, his father, were talking about, well, what if we try to plant grapes and see if we can do it? And really, that's how the idea happened. We just went for it.
So that was about 3 years ago, or longer?
Yeah, that was about 3 years ago in January, when we kind of had this idea.
You had this idea, and it's going to open in October.
Yes, we're planning on October 5th, which is a Saturday.
And so let's take a walk on the farm a little bit through pictures. Now these, you have 5 reds, is that correct?
Yes.
And then over, looking at this wine, you have whites and 1 rosé, 3 whites and 1 rosé.
That's correct. Yep.
All right, and we'll go through those in a second. We'll continue on to look at the farm. Tell me about this, Ellen.
This is our wine cave. So we have all of our barrels in our wine cave. It's part of the tasting room. We thought it would be great place to hold the barrels. There is actually wine inside every single barrel, and we are hoping to do farm-to-table dinners, wine dinners down there.
How many can you have in that room? Do you know?
Between that room and the room next to it, about 80 people.
So you're going to do events there?
Yes.
Whose design was this? Because this is awesome.
So we kind of all worked together to come up with that as well. We, in addition to the farming, we have a residential construction business. So we personally
You're one-stop shopping for everything. This is great.
It's been a long 3 years.
So I mean, we've built the entire place ourselves, and that's part of why it has taken it.
Are you going to do weddings there? Can people get married there if they want to?
Not right off.
Not right off.
Yeah, we want to.
You'll develop that over
exactly.
time. All right, let's continue looking at the phone. These are the grapes that you're actually growing.
Yes, these are ours. These are Marquette grapes that we're going to be harvesting within the next few days. And
how did you pick a grape for the soil in Connecticut? You went out to California, looked around. Did you ask out on Long Island? I mean, because grapes typically aren't, prevalent here. So how did you figure out what was going to be good here? So basically, from talking to a lot of people and asking a lot of questions, the traditional varieties that everyone pops into their head, the Merlot, the Cabernet, a lot of times they don't do as well in Connecticut. So that's we started with Marquette, which is actually a grape from Michigan. So it is used to the colder winters. I'm from Indiana originally, so I recognize that. Marquette, Michigan. That's great.
So that was what we figured we should start with, because we've been growing fruit for a long time, but not grapes. So this is, something we wanted to start with, easier varieties to begin with. And how's it going? How many acres do you have of grapes right now? So on the main farm, we have 1 acre of grapes planted, and we actually, last spring, we planted another area we're actually trying out Merlot as an experimental thing, because we're so close to the shoreline. We think we might do okay through the winter, that they'll be able to be productive. Hardy varietals, right? All right, let's continue on. This is your place. Do you have a name for it? I mean, as a nickname? I mean, this is Rose Winery, of course, but what a gorgeous building. Yep. So I mean, it's Rose Vineyards. This will be our, we call it the tasting room, even though it's, you know, it's much more than that. It's the main building with the cave and then a lounge area.
So neat. And this is these are the grapes.
Yep, those are their Marquette, which we're going to harvest probably on Wednesday.
Oh, this fall. We'll have to take a crew out there and watch that. All right, this is the building of the
so
vineyard.
this is the front of the building. I just, you know, as you see, we're almost totally completed for our opening in a couple of weeks, and we're.
You have to get all the plantings in there.
Yep. Yep.
And so let's go through the wines. I'm going to look through the back. So this is the Pinotage.
Yes. Yep.
Tell me about that.
So overall, all of the ones we have here are made with California grapes because we're just about to get our first harvest with Connecticut grapes. So the Pinotage is actually a very, very popular grape in South Africa, and not as many people have heard about it here, but it's similar to a Pinot Noir.
So it's a lighter, crispier wine.
It's a great wine. It reminds me of like the perfect summer barbecue red.
Oh, I love that.
It really is fantastic.
Then you've got a cab.
You do.
Yep. Yep. So that's your a little bit bolder California cab.
Petit or Syrah, right?
Yes. So that one is a blend of Petit Syrah and Petit Verdot. So that would be our darkest, biggest red wine that we have.
All right, and a Merlot.
Yep.
And what else am I missing?
The Pinotage, which we aged in bourbon barrels. Which
that's right. Now, is that common?
It's getting more common. There wasn't a lot of it, but we're seeing it more and more. You get it's amazing because it's the exact same grape from the exact same vineyard, but aging it in the bourbon barrels, you pick up totally different aromas and flavors.
I'm going to let Ellen describe that. So what's the taste on this?
So,
on the palate.
On the palate, it's delicious as well. So like he said, it's the same exact Pinotage, it's the same exact style that we made it, except we reserved 3 barrels worth and stuck it in the bourbon barrel. So you get a lot of that smoky characteristics. So it really is still like a backyard barbecue wine, but then you get more like burnt sugar, caramel notes.
I so want to open that.
It's great. It's one of our favorites, actually.
Let's go down to the whites. Describe.
We actually won an award on that.
Oh, you did? Well, let's talk about that. What did you?
We put that wine in our, not the bourbon one, was it the regular one? We put it in what's called the Menti del Vino wine competition. So it was an international wine competition, and it got 2nd place.
Yeah, it got a silver medal.
Yeah, so it was really exciting for our first vintage.
Yeah. Tell the world about that.
Yeah, we're excited.
All right, let's look at the whites and the rosés. Ellen, describe those.
So we have our Riesling, our Chardonnay, which we actually oaked in barrels, and our Symphony and our Rosé. So the Symphony is an unusual wine too. Not a lot of people probably have heard about it.
Hand me that bottle, because
Sure.
it's blue.
Yes. So
it looks like sea glass, you know,
Absolutely.
right by the coast. Why did you pick blue?
So we chose blue because it reminded us of the perfect beach wine. Very aromatic, crisp, refreshing, very floral. It's just a great wine, and it reminds me of the beach.
Well, it's gorgeous. Women drink with their eyes, too,
Yes.
so that's great. All right, I want to talk about these boxes. Small businesses helping small businesses. So let's talk about these. Ellen, go ahead.
The boxes actually are, like you said, another small business who's actually a really good friend of ours. They make these boxes, and it's just another way to support local businesses, another way to showcase our wine, and we will be offering them for sale in our tasting room. And we're really excited. We think they came out beautifully.
Oh, they're gorgeous. What a gift for somebody for the holidays. Now, what's the biggest problem that you find when you build a winery? Because you're starting from scratch. You're trying to figure out what grapes you're going to grow. What have you two learned, and what has the family learned by building this?
It's a lot of work, which wasn't really a surprise, but the amount of time spent on the winemaking as well as the rest of the process. But we're very lucky that we've had a lot of family and friends on both sides that have helped us and volunteered a lot, whether it's with winemaking or construction of the building. So that really has, we wouldn't be where we are without all of them. So,
Will you have classes there? I mean, you're just getting going, and I'm asking you questions that you have no idea whether you're going to do or not. So maybe weddings down the road, but maybe wine sippings on weekends, that kind of stuff, once you get open.
Absolutely. We want to do as much as we can. We're excited.
Well, I know people are really excited about you. And a farm since 1644, look what has happened. I wish you all the luck in the world as you open in October. And you don't have a website yet, but you have a Facebook page.
We do.
And the name of it is?
just Rose Vineyards and Winery.
All right, easy. Thank you so much, Ellen and John, for being on.
Thank you.
Thank
I look
you.
forward to opening one of these at some
I look forward
point.
to having you at the winery.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Spend all night kissing and the bump is right here, then who else is missing? Got a little sidetracked to find myself wishing to find the keys to the door, but it's also a metaphor. Things keep locked in the grocery store, but mine just to save time. Skip right ahead to the nice ride.